Hi viewers, and today we're looking at creating molds in FreeCAD to actually create items such as this B block. We'll be learning how to use the thickness tool, and also this is a follow-on from one of my videos that I did at the weekend on Sunday, one of the Scripting Sunday videos where I was looking at randomness and Python in FreeCAD. This is just the modeling of the actual B block and using it as a mold and casting material in this mold to actually create a B block. We're going to be looking at the dimensions here, which are 105 millimeters squared, and we're looking at what is being placed in here. So it's been cast with concrete, so we can actually get this mold made up, but we can actually cast it with clay, push clay into here, or either something that's biodegradable that we could use. It's totally up to you, and it's also how you cast this, whether you're doing it on a 3D printer or actually get it commercially created. It's up to you if you go to a professional to do this, but we're just going to be creating the model in FreeCAD and going from there. So let's get started. So from FreeCAD we'll go create new, and it seems like all my drop downs are gone, so let's re-enable those. Don't know what's happened there. So view, workbench, toolbars, workbenches. Right, so we're on the part design for this, and we'll create body, create a sketch, and I'm going to go on the XY plane, okay that, and we're going to go back to our dimensions. So this 105 millimeters square, so we're just going to add that as a normal square in here, and what I'm going to do is make both those sides equal. Change that to 105. I'm going to use a symmetry constraint for constrain this, so these 2 points and that point. So let's constrain that to the middle where that point is at the top. It's up to you how you constrain this, but I've just done that for now. Close out the sketch and pad that, fit the whole content to selection. Let's bring the status bar in. I want to change my settings to touchpad, so you can use that with the mouse as well. It's not just touchpad, so I'm just going to bring this around and change this to 105. So that's the block. Let's click on top. Okay, that. Now we're going to do a sketch on this face. So let's go back to what we have. And we can see that the actual sketch is a square, but it's got a fillet on the side, so we can actually add that in there. Let's go back, so click on that face, create a new sketch, and we're going to place a sketch in here. Now I'm not sure how large this sketch is. I could go in and determine by this image. I'm going to take a print screen of that, and I'm going to go back to my sketcher. I'm going to leave that as it is, and close that, jump over to the image, and we're going to import that image that I've just taken a screenshot. So create a planar image in 3D space, and this is just to get dimensions really. So we've got pictures, and the last screenshot I did was this one. XY plane, that's fine. And now we can scale that image. So I'm going to jump over to the model and just hide my body for the time being. And we're going to click on that image and use the scale the image plane by defining distance points. Distance points I'm going to be using are the ones that are closest to the camera, so this point here. So from there to there, and I'm going to type in 105. So I've actually scaled that length there because we know this is a 105 block. So let's OK that. So select an image plane, select the image plane, OK that. If I scroll in, pressing Shift Control and just moving my mouse to actually get it positioned correctly, I can use Shift and move that up. And if I take a measurement along there, that should be correct. So from there to there, it's 105. What I'm going to actually do is just move this way using the Shift and just moving my finger across the mouse pad or moving the mouse, and I'm going to measure this length as well. So that's 97. So I'm going to actually take a measurement across here, so you can see how because it's further away from the camera, how the difference between these two are. So I'm going to take a measurement across here to get this distance here. So it's just to really get an idea of how much separation we got. So from there to there, and I'm going to do it at an angle as well. As a matter of fact, I'm going to escape that. I'm going to take this and I'm going to just move up to here. And we're looking for a rough distance between those two. Say 8.3. So if I say that's about 10, then we should be okay. So let's go back to our sketch, and we're going to jump back to the model tab and just hide that image, show the body, and just hide these distances because we know it's 10. Zoom in, and I'm going to use the mouse or the actual keys to move to the top, and I'm going to import this edge so we can actually do some constraints against that edge. Hit escape, and then we can constrain these 2 points with a height, and we're looking at 10 millimeters, and we're going to do the same for the width as well. So horizontal distance constraint in there and 10 in there. And what we're going to do now is actually make this side and this side, mark that with an equality constraint. So that will actually mean that because those two sides are equal, then here and here we can actually move that and just put one constraint in there. So from here and here, do a width of 10, and then that's all locked down. We don't have to worry about the height because it's already constrained over there, and we've also got our quality constraints in. So that's fixed now. Now we can actually pocket this. So if we go back to our image plane, let's bring that back in and hide the body. And we're looking at the bottom at the moment, so let's bring this around to the top. And I'm going to zoom in, and again I'm going to look at creating a distance here just to get a rough idea of where that sits. So I'm going to come in and just measure that, and we'll measure across there. That's 10.98. So if we remember before, if we look back at our measurements, see what we got. Let's move out to the top. So we've got about 10 there. That's 10. That's about 11. So I'm going to go about 15 down. So it just gives you a rough idea. Let's go back to the sketch. Let's hide those and hide the image plane and show the body. And we're going to pad this by 15. So let's close out, jump into the part design. Now I've already got my sketch selected. Let's move this into position and go on to the create a pocket. Let's flip this over so we can actually see it's actually create the pocket on the bottom because I was sketching on the bottom, but that's not a problem. We can actually move it to the top if so desire. So let's create 15 on there. Okay, that. And if I wanted to move that to the top, I can actually allow for that. So what we've got is that we've pocketed that sketch on the bottom face there. So that's got a map mode of flat face. We click on that and it'll show us what selection we did. So we did it on the selection pad face 5. So we can actually flip this over, remove that. So now it's saying no reference selected. It's got selecting, and we'll just select the other one, pad face 6, and okay that. We'll get our pocket in there, but it's off at the moment, so what we'll just do is just go back into our sketch, and what's probably happened is that's moved, and you can actually see that's moved. And if we zoom in, you can see it's taken 10 millimeters from that base there, so we'll just delete that one. We'll just move this up and place another one in there at 10 millimeters. Okay, that. See, that's locked down now. We'll just zoom out, click on top. Let's move that back into position, just close that, and then that is actually connected to the top. And then it's just a case of clicking on here, actually placing some circles in here, but we're going to actually fillet these corners here. So we can either do that in the sketch or actually on the model. So I'm going to jump into the sketch, and this is locked down, so we might have to do some additional constraints on here. So I'm going to click on the fillet tool, and I'm going to come in here and just fillet that side like that. And I'm going to add some constraints back in here, and it's the actual height of this one. So that height at the moment is 18, so I'm going to stick that as 20, and I'm going to stick that one as 20 from the side here as well. So 20 from there. So get a nice curve there. And I'm going to do it on the opposite side as well, replicating that. Let's go up to the top. Because I started filleting, we've got more constraining to do because it's actually broken out the constraint. So we jump in here, put fillet in. So here and here. Hit escape. And same with this one. So this line we may have to import. Or did we import it? Let's import that line. There we go, so that's imported. So I can actually constrain to that line now. So and we'll select those 2 points, and that's allowed for that to actually be locked down, so 20 mil. So that's all locked down nicely. So we close that, and what we should see is a nicely filleted side, either side like that. Now what we're going to do is actually put a few random holes in here. So just click on the face, create a new sketch, and I'm going to use the circle, create a circle in Sketch, and create those random circles in here. I'm going to do a few for quickness, and I'm just going to set the diameters of these as well. So if I hold down the actual control key and select certain ones, I should be able to come in here and select the constrained diameter on those. It says, do you want to show the same diameter for all the selected items? And I do. And I'm going to make those 10. So 10 mil. So that's actually made all those 10 mil. And the others, I'm going to select them. Hold down the control and selecting those, and do the same for those as well. Yes. I'm going to make those 5. Add a few in and make these 15. Select one and select all the rest. Come in here, select the diameter, yes to that, and make those 15. And now we can close out that. So that's a sketch on there, and then we can pocket those. Now we want to make them a decent depth, so if we got 105, about 75 deep. Don't want to come out the other side. I want to be careful, because when we do our thickness on the other side, we can actually remove this section. So that's done that, so we OK that. And now what I'm going to do is flip this around to the back, click on the back, and add a make fixed solid. And what that will do, that will remove the internal, like so. So what we got is basically a mould. I want to give the sides a decent thickness, so around about that's 2 millimeters, and we can actually make it inwards if we so desire, so that's gone inwards. But for this one, I want it to go outwards, because I actually want to make that a similar size. So that's actually moved the thickness outwards, as you can see. So it's made it slightly thicker, but it's also created a mould. So you see the holes in there, they've been created, the thickness has gone outwards on those as well. So the thickness actually moved out. So when you pour material in here, we should get the same shape as what we had before we add this thickness. So the same shape of this actual cube. We can actually increase this thickness. So if I go 3, that seems to have gone into error. So I'm going to go to 0.5 to have that thickness around there. Now the reason why it's probably gone into error, so if we have a look, is because we've got the join type as arc. So we've got this curve, so we have to be careful there, because when we start getting to these types of curves here, then we may get an intersection error. So we've changed the arc down to intersection and change this to 3. Let's see what we get. So that's a different one. And if we look inside, so we've got more straighter edges now. So we haven't chamfered off the edges or filleted off the edges, so that's actually created the correct effect that we want. So we've got the straight sides inside, and we've got the curved features there. So when we fill this with clay or some other material, then we should get the right shape when it comes out. And if you look at the top, we can see that's actually changed the top as well, but we've got the right dimensions for the individual holes that we can actually push into the material. That's okay, and that's basically how you would actually create a mold for something like a B block. Obviously increase the count of these if you so desire, if you wanted more holes in there. Just a side note, you may want to actually create some air holes in here to allow the material to be flowed easily. So if you're pushing clay or any type of material into the back here, you're going to get air pockets. So we need to actually create some holes in the base and the sides, just to allow that air to escape, to make it much easier for the material to flow. And that can easily be done by actually drilling the holes here, or creating a sketch on this face or this face and actually adding the holes in there. So that's done after any thickness has been done, otherwise you'll actually get these features come through here. So just flip this over, click on the face, and then create a new sketch and just place 1 or 2 holes in here, and they need to be small. Like so. Close that down and create a pocket. And you can see those have already gone through, so they've got 5mm, but we just go to through all, we flip this around, you can see the holes there, and we just do the same on the other sides as well. So click on the face, click on the sketch, and we're just going to place 1 or 2 on the front there. Especially down low, like so. Then close that, and again pocket those through all, and OK. That just makes it a bit easier to actually do those. And you can see doing the through all has actually gone through that point there and that point there. This one might be not relevant because it's a bit high, so we can actually just jump back into that one and just move that. So that one there, and we'll just move that down to the corner there. And then close that, and that's gone through there. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed. As I said before, this carries on from video we did on Sunday, and this is actually how you create that B block. And what we're going to do with the video coming up soon is look at creating the randomness of this inside via Python script, just to follow on from the previous video. Okay, sorry I'm a bit croaky, but hope you enjoyed. Before my voice goes, have a nice day and all the best, and I'll see you soon. If you like what you're seeing, please subscribe to my site, and also I have a Ko-Fi site where you can actually donate a few pence or a few pounds, dollars, or whatever your currency is, and that's at ko-fi.com/mang0, and there you'll be able to help me fund my site, and all the money that I actually get from any funds will actually get pushed back into the channel. Thanks a lot for watching and subscribing. I'll see you next time.